Welcome, everyone. I'd like to share with you a number of numerical gems regarding Shabbat, and especially the lights of Shabbat, lighting candles on Shabbat. We know that it's a tradition for women to light 2 candles on Shabbat. So, among many of the different methods of employing numerical phenomena to the Torah is the idea of inverse numbers. So if we look at the numerical value of Shabbat, it equals 702. Now if you take 702 and you inverse the numbers, you have 207. 207 equals or, light. So here already we see an intrinsic connection between Shabbat and light. Another word that has the numerical value of 207 is Ein Sof. Literally it means without end. That's the way we refer to the infinite being or nature of God. The Ein Sof, without end. Infinity. And so when women light candles, so we know that there's this traditional movement to go like this, as if bringing the light in. And then a woman covers her eyes and says the blessing. So on a deep mystical and spiritual level, this motion is taking the infinite light of creation and bringing it in to the finite light of the candles. And even greater, bringing the infinite light of creation into the experience that we will have on Shabbat. So Shabbat is intrinsically connected to light and also creation, because we rest on the 7th day. And when we make Kiddush, we are, in a sense, testifying in our belief, acknowledgement, praise, and thanks for God creating the world. In 6 days, God created the world, and the 7th day, God rested. And so here we see a beautiful connection between creation. In fact, in Kiddush we say, Zecher l'maaseh bereshit, a remembrance of the first day of creation. Now, if we look at the first word of the Torah, bereshit, and you permute the letters, you get Yirah Shabbat, which is the awe of Shabbat, or the same word is Ya'er Shabbat, the light of Shabbat, the enlightenment of Shabbat. So here we see in the first word of creation that Shabbat is already there. That's why in L'Chododi we say, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila. The end of deed is the first in thought. So already in the word Bereshit, you have Shabbat, the awe of Shabbat, and the illumination of Shabbat. Now, let's look at the candles themselves. The numerical value of Ner, a light, a candle, is 250. And tradition is that we light at least 2 candles. So if you put 250 plus 250 equals 500. What word or phrase has the numerical value of 500? Peru uravu. Be fruitful and multiply. So if we look in Jewish law, why do we light lights on Shabbat? So even though I already gave over a more spiritual, mystical idea of the connection of Shabbat and light, in the halacha, it gives a much more practical. We have to remember, we're talking about a time that was pre-electricity. And if people didn't light lights, there would be darkness in the house. And people might fall all over the place and get angry and yell at each other. This is what it says in Jewish law. So we light lights to preserve shalom bayit, peace in the house. And so we can understand on one level, we could say, why 2 lights? We could say what's called shamor v'zachor. One is to guard the laws of Shabbat, and the other is zachor, to remember, and all of the positive things that we do on Shabbat. In the 2 different tablets of the law, one said shamor and one said zachor. So we could say that's one of the reasons that we light 2 candles. But here we could also understand, because they're being lit for peace in the home, shalom bayit, it's for zachor v'nekeva, for masculine and feminine. And so the fact that you put 2 candles together, 250 and 250 equals 500, equals be fruitful and multiply. So we're told on one level that the most auspicious time for husband and wife to be together in marital intimacy is on Shabbat. Because Shabbat is about shalom bayit, it's about being fruitful and multiplying. But here on a deeper level, usually we would think of being fruitful and multiplying as more connected to the 6 days of the week. We want our business to be fruitful and multiply. In our professions, we want to produce and we want to be successful and we want to amass financial gain, we want to amass professional advancement. So we might think that Puravu relates more to the 6 days. In Shabbat, we rest. And that there is a truth to that. But on a deeper level, the true being fruitful and multiply is happening on Shabbat. Because that's when the soul is given the space to really expand, to multiply itself, and to feel the fruitfulness. Sometimes in our crazy running around during the week, we might be advancing, but sometimes we're so busy we don't even appreciate it. We're just too stressed trying to make it. And then on Shabbat, that's when we can actually count our blessings and to see how much we're blessed, how fruitful and multiplying we are. And so also, even though we appreciate our children all the time, and perhaps we are in a certain way blessing them all the time, but when we formally and ritually bless our children is on Shabbat. That's the fruitful and being multiplying. That's when we really, really connect with our children in such a deep way. So hopefully these numerical gems will make our Shabbats even richer than hopefully it is now.